Hey everybody, welcome back for another modern slash retro sort of review. Just like with Ninja Saviors, we're taking a look at a game that was an SNES classic by Natsume that has been revamped and recharged for modern consoles, and that's Kiki Kaikai Kuromanto no Nazo, aka POCKY and Rocky RESHRINED. Yes, this is indeed a quasi-remake of the original 1992 POCKY and Rocky that itself was sort of a remake slash kind of sequel to the original Kiki Kaikai arcade game that was released way back in 1986, though this doesn't really feel like an exact remake because it makes enough changes that it really is its own unique game, even if the Japanese version does share the same name as its Super Famicom counterparts, and it's equal parts fun and brutal. You'll be smiling 1 minute and hurling obscenities the next, but we'll get into all that. For now, though, just know that this game is awesome, even if it did make me want to pull my hair out a time or two. So let's take a closer look and see why this is possibly the best of any of the modern retro games that I've ever played. For starters, RESHRINED takes the same basic gameplay of the SNES game and adds some cool features to make it better without losing what made it fun to begin with, kind of like they did with Wild Guns Reloaded and again Ninja Saviors. Both POCKY and Rocky are playable in the single player and co-op modes, and they both make use of a variety of weapons that can be obtained through power-ups, though now the weapons are unique to each character. So for example, while Sayo, aka POCKY's basic shot, is a straightforward and powerful spread shot, while Manuke, aka Rocky, starts out with a homing shot, and each weapon they pick up after that will behave differently depending on who you're playing as. They both also have a very nifty slide ability to get them out of harm's way, as well as a limited number of super attacks, which really come in handy when you need to clear the screen or deal some big damage to bosses. And perhaps most useful of all, they both have a swiping attack that can deflect enemy projectiles and even send them flying back at enemies for some extra damage. All of these weapons and abilities are cool, but they're really just the tip of the iceberg, as playing through the story mode you'll unlock new abilities for them not featured in the SNES game, and you'll even unlock several new playable characters, and they have a bunch of unique abilities of their own, so there's plenty of variety to the gameplay. And again, you can tackle this game solo or with a second player, which is just as fun now as it was in 1992. I did mention before, though, that this game is brutally difficult, and I stand by that claim. During my first playthrough, I was dying a lot, and figured out very quickly that you need to learn the enemy patterns in each stage, and what the best tool for the job is for each segment before you can progress, and even then, it's still pretty tricky, and you don't even have an easy mode to fall back on at first, as you actually have to unlock it by earning coins in the story mode. Be that as it may, this is still a very fun game, and once you do finally get the hang of all your abilities and start to understand the enemy patterns a little better, this game goes from being brutally difficult to merely very challenging, at least on the normal difficulty anyway. On top of its solid gameplay, this is both a great looking and great sounding game. Again, just like with the other recent Natsume remakes, RESHRINED takes the same look and aesthetics of the original game, but really beefs it up to give us some absolutely stunning sprite work that really impressed me. The stages are very detailed, the characters look great, especially the boss characters that tend to be very large and take up about half the screen, and thank goodness for that, because it allows you to marvel at how awesome they look. Even simple things like the menus and the overworld for the story mode feature a lot of attention to detail, and on the whole I'd say this is probably the best looking game so far that Natsume has remade. Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fantastic soundtrack that is at the same time fun and poppy, but maintains a distinctly Japanese sound to match the visuals and the plot, which is steeped in traditional Japanese Shinto lore and imagery. Indeed, this is a game that has it all. Beautiful graphics and sound, and gameplay that is every bit as good as it is challenging, which again has me pondering, with all of the recent retro-inspired games and remakes of classic titles on modern consoles, is this the best of the bunch? I don't know, but my gut says maybe. Whatever the case may be, if you haven't already, go out of your way to play POCKY and Rocky RESHRINED, because it is awesome.
Awesome!